Good morning, my dear students. This is Sriram, Next Level Biology, MSc AP Set. Today, I want to discuss about the topic is nervous system, in which I'm discussing about the structure of brain. Brain and spinal cord are the part of central nervous system. Brain and spinal cord are the part of central nervous system. This brain is covered with three meninges. This brain is covered with three meninges. Brain is covered with three meninges. There, one is the dura mater. Second one is arachnoid. Third one is pia mater. So there is three membranes which are covers the brain, collectively called as meninges. So outer one is said to be as the dura mater. This is the outer membrane. It is called dura mater. It is a hard matter. Dura mater is a hard matter. This is the dura mater. It is the hard matter. Dura means hard matter. Beneath that, there is a membrane called arachnoid membrane. There is a membrane is called arachnoid membrane. This is arachnoid membrane. Arachnoid is a webby portion and a thin portion. So there is the black colored outer dura mater. Beneath that there is a arachnoid. Beneath that arachnoid there is a soft matter which is vascularized portion, that is the pia mater. This is the pia mater. This is the pia mater very close to the brain. Pia mater is very close to brain and also close to spinal cord. This red colored is the pia mater. It is the soft matter. It is a vascularized portion, supplied with highly vascularized, supplied with blood vessels concerned, blood flux concerned. In between dura mater and arachnoid, there is the space called subdural space. This space is said to be as the subdural space. This is the subdural space. Here, this space is present between arachnoid and pia is a subarachnoid space. Subarachnoid space. In subarachnoid space, there is a cerebrospinal fluid is there, CSF. Here the fluid is a intercellular fluid, ICF. And I am saying, question is asked like this: brain and spinal cord protected with how many meninges? Answer is dura mater, arachnoid membrane and pia mater. Question number 2 asked like this: arrange the following sequentially, the layers from outer to inner. Dura, arachnoid and pia. What is the thin membrane? Arachnoid. What is the soft membrane? Pia. What is the hard membrane? dura. Gap present between that first two membranes, subdural space. Gap present between pia and inner, that is the pia and arachnoid and pia, subarachnoid space, where cerebrospinal fluid is there, that is present at subarachnoid space, space present between arachnoid membrane, blue colored and red colored membrane. Name the layer far away from the brain, dura mater. Name the layer which is very close to the brain, pia mater. That's the concern of meninges concern. Later we discuss about the real structure of brain. It's said by the think tank. Brain is the think tank, command control system. It is integrated so many functions. Brain is divided into forebrain. Forebrain is also called prosencephalon. Midbrain. Midbrain called mesencephalon. Hindbrain called rhombencephalon. Forebrain, prosencephalon. Midbrain, mesencephalon. Hindbrain, rhombencephalon. Forebrain constitutes, the parts are cerebrum, next one is the olfactory lobes, and third one is the diencephalon. Hindbrain consists cerebellum, pons varolii, and medulla oblongata. Forebrain constitutes the parts called cerebrum, olfactory lobes, and diencephalon. Hindbrain constitutes cerebellum, pons varolii, and medulla oblongata. First go for discussion of forebrain. Up to NCERT level I am discussing. I go for draw in a sagittal section. This is the cerebrum. I go for coronal section. I go for coronal section or frontal section. I draw the brain like this. Cerebrum I draw like this. The cerebrum. This plane is said to be as the sagittal plane. This plane is the sagittal plane. This plane is the coronal plane or frontal plane. So here observed in coronal plane or frontal plane. In first diagram, you observed coronal plane, frontal plane. There is a deep median fissure. There is the deep median fissure which divides. This is the deep median fissure which divides it, the brain. Here, this is the one median fissure. Toward that sagittal view, you observed. That sagittal fissure, that is the sagittal plane. You observed brain is divided into, this is a sagittal plane. Brain is divided into a left cerebral hemisphere and a right cerebral hemisphere. So this is the sagittal. You observed in this way. And you cut it at the sagittal plane. Sagittal plane, you open it. You see left side of my brain. So this is the sagittal plane which divides our brain into the cerebral hemispheres. There is a transverse band there is the transverse band which connected, there is a transverse band which connected, this is a brain. You observe transversely, this is the brain. This is a one lobe and this is the another lobe. You open this lobe, there is the transverse, a band which is connecting these two. I draw it on the hand. I draw it on the hand. Please see. You observed here. This is the brain. When brain cutted, brain showing a transverse fibers. If I am opening it, see here. That is the corpus callosum. Corpus callosum is a transverse band which connecting the left and cerebral hemispheres. On the diagram, this is the corpus callosum. This is the corpus callosum which is dividing the right and left cerebral hemispheres. This is the right one, this is the left one, this is the right one, this is the left one. These right and left cerebral hemispheres are interconnected internally by a transverse band. The transverse band is said to be the corpus callosum. This cerebrum, outer region is grey in color, outer grey in appearance. Inside there is white in color. Outside they having grey matter. What is the reason it has grey matter? Means it is having neuronal bodies. It is having neuronal bodies and non-myelinated axons. Neuronal bodies and non-myelinated axons. Inside, why it is white in appearance means it is having myelinated axons. The term myelos means white. Due to the presence of myelinated axons, white colored appearance is seen within the brain, cerebrum portion I am asking now. Outer region is grey, inside is the white. You observed they are having a number of foldings are there. Foldings are collectively called as the grooves. Here grooves. Grooves are two kinds. They are shallower grooves and deeper grooves. Deeper grooves are called the fissures, whereas shallowers are called sulci. In diagram, in a diagram, this folding is somewhat shallower, and this folding is somewhat deeper. Some folding is shallower, deeper, shallower, 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 deeper, deeper, like this. Deeper is said to be as the fissure. Sulci is the shallower. It is exhibited the intelligence of more convolutions, more foldings are there, more intelligent. Human being is having more grooves and more convolutions. That man is said to be the high intelligent. Intelligence of the living organism is depending upon the foldings of the brain. This cerebrum is having functionality concerned. They having three areas. Functionality concerned, they having three areas. Motor areas, sensory areas, and associated areas. There is a functionality concerned within the brain. Three areas are seen. Sensory areas are useful for interpretation of sensory impulses. The coordinating related to the sensory impulses. It is interprets with sensory impulses. There is the motor area Motor area is interprets with motor functioning. Motor functioning. There is associated areas are there. These associated areas are majorly seen in the concern for motor and sensory and associated areas. Associated areas occupies more space. It is neither motor nor sensory. These are neither motor nor sensory. They are neither motor nor sensory. They are not necessary for motor signaling and sensory signaling, but they conducting very integrated functionality concern, memory, thinking, that is useful for memory, thinking. Then there is a very deeper portion, this is the cerebrum, na? Deeper portion of the cerebrum, there is a limbic system is there. Limbic system. This limbic system containing HAT, HAT, HAT. H stands for hippocampal lobe. H stands for hippocampal lobe. A stands for amygdala. T stands for thalamus. This limbic system is useful for the behavior related to the sex, libido character. Limbic system, where that get be located means that located deeper portion of the cerebrum. Concern for cerebrum. Cerebrum is the major part of the brain. It is the part of forebrain. It is divided into cerebral hemispheres. Cerebral hemispheres are divided transversely by the corpus callosum. Cerebral hemisphere is grey in outer appearance due to the non-myelinated axons and neuronal bodies. Internally white due to the myelinated axons. Cerebrum is having foldings, convolutions, and they are having fissures, grooves are divided into two kinds. They are shallower sulci and deeper fissures. Very deep to that cerebrum, there is a limbic system is there. Limbic system corresponding with HAT. H stands for hippocampal lobe. A stands for amygdala. T stands for thalamus. This is useful for corresponding sexual behavior and libido character of the human being concerned. There is three important areas are seen in the cerebrum functionality concern. Motor areas, sensory areas and associated areas. Motor areas are interpreted with motor impulses. Sensory areas are interpreted with sensory impulses. Associated areas are the larger portions of the cerebrum, which is neither sensory nor motor. Means that is not useful for sensory and motor, but it is plays important role for so many integrated activities like memory, thinking. Next go for one more important part related to the forebrain, that is a diencephalon. That is the diencephalon. Diencephalon is a part of forebrain. Diencephalon is the part of forebrain. It is having hypothalamus, thalamus, and epithalamus. It is the midbrain. It is the midbrain. This is the roof of the midbrain. This is the midbrain. This is the roof of the midbrain. On roof of the midbrain, there is a pair of thalami are there. Number of thalami are one pair. Location at roof of the midbrain. This is midbrain. This is midbrain. This is the roof of the midbrain. On roof of the midbrain, there is two thalami are there. This is a midbrain. This is the roof of the midbrain. On roof of the midbrain, there is a pair of thalamus are there. Thalamus is a center for major coordination for motor and sensory signaling. The part of brain is useful for major coordinating of sensory and motor signaling is thalami. This is the thalami. This is the base of the thalami. This is the base of the thalami. This is the roof of the thalami. Base of the thalami. This is the base of the thalami. This is the base. This is the roof of the thalami. Base of the thalami is called hypothalamus, or roof of the thalami is called epithalamus. Here, this epithalamus is having a very important gland is called pituitary gland, which is located sphenoid bone, sella turcica, the kind of fossa of sphenoid bone, which is present at anterior side, that's said to be the keystone, where this pituitary gland is lodged. Here hypothalamus is the part of diencephalon. It is having some regions. They having some regions. That regions are useful for liberating hormones. Hypothalamus is the master control center. It is the master control center. It is useful for, it is the master control center. It is useful for liberating so many hormones. For example, growth hormone, releasing hormone. For example, want liberating thyroid secretions releasing hormone, adrenal secretions releasing hormone. So releasing hormones are liberated from the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus, the very important portion of the diencephalon. It is the master control center. It is coordinating their function, the help of hormones. Hormones are synthesized here, they get be transported. That hormones are said to be as releasing hormones. So again I am saying about the diencephalon. Diencephalon is the part of forebrain. This diencephalon is having a pair of thalami located at the roof of the midbrain, and epithalamus, and base of the thalami there is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is having neurosecretory portions. They are useful for the production of hormones. They are said to be as releasing hormones and inhibitory hormones. Then go for midbrain. Midbrain is also called it as a mesencephalon. Midbrain is called mesencephalon. This is the midbrain. This is the pons feroli, the medulla oblongata. This is the spinal cord. This is the midbrain. This is the midbrain. This is the pons feroli. This is the medulla oblongata. These are collectively called it as a brainstem. This is the brainstem. This is the spinal cord. This is the spinal cord. There is a cavities are there. This is one cavity. This is the one cavity. This is the laterocele. Another laterocele is there. There are the two lateroceles. Here I draw one laterocele, and I draw by using blue color. another laterocele. One is present at one cerebral hemisphere, another is present at another cerebral hemisphere, two lateroceles. These two lateroceles are moving and converted into, that is moving as the foramina of Manrose, and they open at the cavity, the cerebral aqueduct. It is called iter. Iter is also called cerebral aqueduct. Cerebral aqueduct. In our NCERT concern, there is the cerebral aqueduct present in the midbrain. So for that I am explaining it. Cerebral aqueduct, which is connecting third cavity of the diencephalon and fourth cavity of medulla oblongata. There is the fourth cavity present in the medulla oblongata. There is a third cavity present in the diencephalon. So cerebral aqueduct, which is connecting second cavity present in the diencephalon, third cavity present in the diencephalon, and fourth cavity present in the medulla. Here both are connected with, I am using black color here. This is the second, this is that iter present at that is located which in the midbrain. Cerebral aqueduct is located in which portion? Midbrain. Cerebral aqueduct which connects third ventricle and fourth ventricle. Third ventricle located at diencephalon. Fourth ventricle located at medulla oblongata. First and second ventricles are located at cerebral hemispheres. First, second, third are interconnected with foramina of Manrose. And here you observed, this is our anterior end. I am standing here. This is my anterior end. This is my posterior end. Here at posterior side of the midbrain, there is a 4 lobes are there. There are the 4 lobes. Location of the 4 lobes are dorsal side, that is located at dorsal side or posterior side. Posterior side of the midbrain, there is the posterior side. This is posterior side of the midbrain. Posterior side synonymically called it as the dorsal side. A dorsal side, it is having 4 lobes that are said to be as corpora quadrizemina. Corpora quadrizemina. Corpora quadrizemina. There is having number of corpora quadrizemina are 4 in number. So concern for midbrain, the overview points are, important points are, one is it is having cerebral aqueduct. At dorsal side it is having corpora quadrizemina. Then go for hindbrain. Go for hindbrain. Go for hindbrain. On blackboard, go for hindbrain. Hindbrain is having 3 important parts. They are, one is the pons veroli, another one is the medulla oblongata, and another one is the cerebellum. Cerebellum. Here, this is the brainstem, this is the midbrain, this is the pons, the medulla, this is the spinal cord. Go for related to that pons. Go related to that pons veroli. Pons veroli is a very, very important zone. This is useful for respiration concern, having pneumotoxic center. useful for increasing the rate of respiration. This pons varoli is present between, this is the midbrain, this is the medulla oblongata. Question is asking like this: where pons varoli is located? Pons varoli is located in between midbrain and medulla oblongata, or anterior to the cerebellum. This is the cerebellum. This is the cerebellum. This is the anterior portion of the cerebellum. This is the anterior portion of the cerebellum. So pons varoli is located between the midbrain and medulla oblongata, anterior to the cerebellum. Next go for medulla. Medulla oblongata is a observed location is where medulla oblongata is located. Medulla oblongata located in between pons varoli and spinal cord. Located in between pons varoli and spinal cord. It is also coordinating so many involuntary functions: gastric secretions, cardiac activity, respiratory activity. So it regulated very, very important functions like respiratory activity, gastric activity, cardiac activity are regulated by the medulla oblongata. Very, very important part of the midbrain. And go for cerebellum. Cerebellum is said to be as the little brain. It is said to be as the little brain. It is the cerebrum. This is the transverse fissure. Cerebrum is interconnected with the cerebellum, the transverse fissure. Cerebellum present back to the midbrain, back to the pons, back to the medulla. So midbrain, pons, medulla, they present back. Cerebellum is a highly convoluted portion, having more convolutions. It is a highly convoluted portion. Highly convoluted portion of the brain is a cerebellum. It is a highly convoluted portion. It is accommodated more number of neurons. It is a functionality concerned. It is a gyroscopic center. It is a gyroscopic center which is maintaining equilibrium. Gyroscopic, which means which maintaining equilibrium. And I am saying about that cerebellum. Cerebellum is the little brain located back to the midbrain, pons and medulla. It is connected to the cerebrum with a transverse fissure. It is highly convoluted portion of the brain, accommodated more number of neurons, uses gyroscopic center of the body, maintaining that equilibrium with respect to that muscles concerned. For example, in sudden accident, cerebellum get be damaged means that voluntary muscles are showing sustained contraction. That's said to be as ataxia is caused. Ataxia is caused. So I think for a NEET concern, this is very benefit to you. If you like it, please subscribe my channel. Thank you. All the best, my dear students. Thank you very much.